Tale of an Orphan, Part 4. Fatima had not gone far from the government secondary school when her stomach began to rumble. She placed a hand on her tummy, trying to quiet it, but the sharp pain that came with it could not be ignored. She slowed her steps. She knew she needed to eat. She hadn't eaten anything since morning. All she needed at that moment was good food. For a moment, she stopped thinking altogether. Going back home was not an option. She knew there would be no food waiting for her, not after she had been sent out to find the missing money. She checked the money on her, the money she made from selling Akamuda money. After giving her brother 3,500 naira, she was still having 5,000 naira on her. Instead of returning home to hand over the remaining money, a different thought crossed her mind. She would eat first. Since there would be no food waiting for her at home, she will use the money to eat and go home afterward to gladly receive her punishment. Receiving punishment on that day is inevitable. Without allowing herself to think any further, she turned her walk in the opposite direction, towards a small canteen she knew. She was familiar with the woman who owned it. Whenever she went about hawking, she always greeted her. The woman, an Igbo trader, was known for her delicious meal. Though Fatima had never tasted her food before, the constant praise from customers told her everything she needed to know. "Good afternoon, Mama Ijoma," Fatima greeted as she approached. "Fatih," the woman exclaimed with surprise. "How are you? Where is your bucket? Are you not hawking today?" Fatima managed a small smile. "I will hawk later this afternoon. Right now, I want to eat." "You want to eat?" Mama Ijoma repeated, already reaching for a plate. "Yes, Mama Ijoma. Please give me semo. No meat, just semo and soup, okay?" "It's 500 naira, Mama Ijoma said. "No problem, I will pay." In no time, the food was served. Fatima carried the plate into the canteen. She sat down and began to eat. She didn't wait, didn't look around. She simply ate, swallowing quickly as if afraid the food might disappear. At that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the people around her, not those walking in and out, not even her worries. What matters was the food before her and how she would eat to her fill. But what she did not know was that someone had seen her and followed her inside. The man did not buy food. He was just there, watching her as though he was trying to prove something. He did not speak. His eyes were fixed on her, but his presence could not be ignored by the people inside and around the canteen, because in their midst, it looked different, completely different. Fatima remained unaware. All her attention was on her food. "What should we serve you, sir?" one of the guest-serving customers asked. Farzan brought out his wallet. He opened it and brought out 1,000 naira. "I just want to wait for someone here. I will leave in a minute," he said, and the young girl blushed. The way he talked and was looking at her couldn't stop her from blushing. She collected the money and walked away. "Alhamdulillah," Fatima said after washing her hand. She stood up and walked toward Mama Ijoma while holding her used plate. "You want more?" Mama Ijoma asked. "No," Fatima replied, smiling. "I'm just returning the plate," she added. She opened her purse and counted 2,000 out of the remaining 5,000 and handed the money to Mama Ijoma. "Your money is just 500 naira. Why are you giving me in 4 fourths?" Mama Ijoma said, looking at the money strangely. "I know," Fatima said, smiling. "I just want to pay 3 more days ahead." "You are paying for 3 days in advance?" Mama Ijoma asked. "Yes," Fatima replied, looking at her. "Would that be possible?" "Of course," Mama Ijoma replied. "All right then. Thank you. See you tomorrow," Fatima said, hopping away. She looked happy and fulfilled. She seemed to be ready for whatever waiting for her at home. Just when she wanted to hop out of the canteen, she noticed Farzan and she recognized him immediately. But she did not give him a second glance. She looked away and immediately walked away. Farzan followed behind her, looking surprised. He did not expect her to see him and pretended as if she had never seen him before. Even back in India, where he used to live and have similar skin color and traits with the people around, people will still give him a second glance, even if they have seen him before. And here in Nigeria, people will always give him special attention, no matter the number of times they have seen him before. But this young girl gave him a feeling he could not understand. He ignored how he was feeling and decided to focus on where he was, why he was there. Earlier, when he rode his bike from Kabir's house, that afternoon, sun pressing lightly against his skin, his mind was elsewhere. He was thinking about the young girl they saw earlier in the morning, the girl he believed he might not even recognize, and yet something about her bothered him. Then he saw her, and surprisingly, he recognized her at a glance. She was walking by the roadside, her steps slow, her face tense as if she was carrying a burden too heavy for her small frame. And again, something about her pulled at his heart. He couldn't explain it. Ever since he heard that the girls hawking around too, something had unsettled him. He had been thinking about her ever since, thinking of doing something for a girl he did not even know. He frowned slightly as he rode past her. Is she really what they said she is? She didn't look it. There was something different about her. Something quiet, something troubled, something real. Remember the way she had looked earlier that morning, the way her eyes were moist in tears, the way she apologized, and the way she looked defiant when Kabir insulted her. No, that was not the face of someone careless or wayward. That was the face of a fighter who had lost his strength. That was the face of someone struggling to get back her strength. Farzan slowed his bike subconsciously, his eyes still on her even as he passed. He wanted to stop, he wanted to talk to her, he wanted to know her, but something held him back. Watch first, he told himself. Understand her. If she turned out to be what Kabir and Awa said, he didn't know what he would do. And if she wasn't, he still didn't know what to do. All he knew was that he wanted to be around her, he wanted to help her, he wanted to protect her, and yet a bitter thought crept into his mind. Who am I to protect anyone? He let out a quiet breath. Farzan himself was not strong, not really. He too needed support. He was still a student, 300 level student, but somehow he still believed he could do something, perhaps because he was older, perhaps because he was a man, or perhaps because he had known struggle in his own way. He was not born in Nigeria, he was born in India. His father, a Nigerian man, had met and married his mother there, a Muslim Indian woman, but when his father completed his education, he insisted on returning to Nigeria, his homeland. His mother refused. She chose to remain in India. Farzan never fully understood what happened between them, but the result was clear. They went their separate ways. His father returned to Nigeria, while his mother remarried, leaving him with his uncle, a prominent and wealthy uncle in India. Farzan stayed behind for some time, then later came to Nigeria to continue his education, and for another reason he kept to himself. Though he and his father had never lost contact, living together was different from speaking over the phone. When he returned, he realized that his father has 2 wives with some of the children older than him. Now he lived with his father and his father's wives and his siblings. They tried to accept him, they cared for him in their own way, but still he felt like an outsider, a stranger trying to belong. He was his mother's first child, but to his father, he has 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters, and a younger brother and 2 younger sisters. They are 8 altogether, and is the only one from his mother. A family that was his, yet not fully his. And now, standing between 2 wars, India and Nigeria, he was still trying to understand where he truly belonged. So how could someone like him help Fatima? How could he support her when he himself was still searching for stability? His grip tightened slightly on the handle of his bike. Still, his eyes drifted back to her figure in the distance. Without a second thought, Farzan followed her into the canteen, and it was then he heard her name, Fatima. He mumbled. She had the same name as his mother, but instead of Fatima, his mother was called Zara. He stayed back, not wanting to draw attention to himself. His eyes fixed on her as she ate. Fatima didn't notice him at first. She was too focused on her food, eating quickly, as if she hadn't eaten in a long time. But when she was finally done and was about to go out of the canteen, she saw him. For a brief moment, their eyes almost met. Then she quickly looked away. She pretended not to know him, pretended she had never seen him before. Farzan felt it immediately. That reaction, it was strange, unfamiliar. He had never experienced something like that before. Someone recognizing him, yet deliberately choosing to ignore him. His brows tightened slightly. Why is she ignoring him? He watched her more carefully now, trying to understand. Was she shy, afraid, or hiding something? Before he could figure it out, Fatima hopped out of the canteen without sparing him another glance. Farzan followed behind her, but by the time he was fully out of the canteen, she was gone. He looked around, scanning the road, but she had disappeared into the busy street. For a moment, he stood there, looking unsettled. Where did she get those money from? He pondered. Then slowly, he returned to his bike, climbed on, and zoomed off. But his mind was no longer on where he was going. It was on her, Fatima. How did she get those money? Fatima had completely forgotten about Farzan. To her, he was just like every other stranger she passed on the road. Someone whose path briefly crossed hers and then disappeared. What happened that morning meant nothing to her, just coincidence. They had nothing in common. Their paths would never cross again. At least, that was what she believed. So she had no reason to think about him, no reason to feel anything in her mind. It was just another Bature, a fair man, distant and irrelevant to her life. She was almost at their street when she suddenly bumped into Halima. Halima looked at her and sneered. "You Zaki Uwarki. Today you'll be in serious trouble," she said coldly before walking away. Fatima paused for a second. She understood immediately. The errand Halima was going on was meant for her. But because she had not been at home, Halima had gone in her place. That meant only one thing, her punishment had increased. Fatima swallowed hard. She already knew she would be punished, but now it might be more than she could endure. Still, whatever it was, she was ready to face it, but not yet. Before going home, she had to see Rashida. If she entered the house now, she might never get the chance again, and with that, her hope of returning to school might disappear completely. Without hesitation, she turned back. Instead of heading home, she made a U-turn and walked toward the path where she believed Rashida would pass. It was already past 3 in the afternoon. She found a quiet place, performed her prayers, and then sat under a tree to wait. Minutes stretched into an hour, then finally, she saw her. Rashida was coming down the path. She had changed out of her school uniform. Now she wore a fitted skirt and blouse that hugged her body perfectly. A small veil rested lightly on her head. Her face was fully made up, carefully carved broad lips painted in a blend of red and nude. She looked beautiful, older than her age. Unlike Fatima, who never cared about her appearance, Rashida was not in a hurry. She walked calmly, holding a small bucket filled with boiled egg, moving with quiet confidence. When Fatima saw her, she quickly rushed forward. "Rashida," she called, and at the same time, the perfume she sprayed on her body drifted into her nose, almost choking her. Rashida turned. The difference between them was obvious, clear from head to toe. "You are here. You didn't go back home?" Rashida asked, even though she already knew the answer. After all, they lived in the same compound. Fatima nodded softly. "I've been waiting for you." Rashida looked at her for a moment, then said, "I know what happened this morning will make you to find me." Fatima's heart tightened, but she did not say a word. "You need to find another way to survive. Otherwise," Rashida paused slightly, "your life will become even more miserable. And in the future, you may end up living under the mercy of the evil girl and her mother." She turned and said, "Follow me." There was authority in her voice. Fatima didn't like the way she was being spoken to. It felt controlling, almost harsh. But at that moment, Rashida represented something she desperately needed, a way out. So she kept quiet and followed. They walked until they reached another government secondary school, not the one Fatima went earlier in the morning. This one was different. It was open, ungated, exposed. The large field was often filled with men playing football, while in hidden corners, other things happened, things people choose not to see. To many, it was just a place where young people come to catch fun, but to guests like Rashida and now, possibly Fatima, it was something else entirely, a place of survival, a place of compromise. Rashida led her to a quiet corner and stopped. This will be the end of today's episode. Let's meet again for another interesting one. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, to drop your comment, and subscribe to our channel. I remain your humble host, Ahmad. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.